Now at 5, we'll hear from a Joplin-based refugee and immigration services organization on how they helped people in 2023.
Plus, we have snow in the forecast. I'll tell you what, when, and where.
And never before seen court documents are released in the Jeffrey Epstein sex trafficking case.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
We have some possibly winter weather moving in tomorrow morning. This is KOAM News at 5. I'm Dow Quick. Let's go straight to Chloe Arroyo for our first look at the weather.
Thanks, Dow. We have the chance for some snowfall Friday morning, early Friday morning into the noon hours. So here's the details on that. We could see anywhere from a dusting up to an inch for southwestern Missouri. Now, if you push further west, that's when those chances will be a little bit greater. Now, the timing for accumulation anywhere from 6 a.m. to noon, but we'll still see some isolated snow showers here and there into the afternoon. Eastern counties, your commute will be minimally impacted in terms of road conditions, but western counties, you're going to want to keep that in mind a little bit more. Current temperatures above freezing right now, but we're going to be tracking those temperatures as they go a little below freezing into later on tonight. Now, coming up in a bit, we'll talk a little bit more about those details on this snow system, especially round 2 into next week, and frigid temperatures ahead. I'll have all the details.
We will see you soon. MoDOT is standing by to treat the roads in preparation for the possible winter weather. They're holding off for now in case it rains. If it does rain, the treatment will just get washed away. They plan to plow tomorrow and will make plans for next week's weather when they need to.
So we do watch the ground temperatures real closely. So say the ground temps are 35, 36, pretty warm. We can generally just plow that off. But if, say, for example, the opposite is true, say the ground temps are below 32, that rain could freeze on contact. So that means we need to get a treatment out ahead down early so that that ice doesn't bond to the pavement.
Another issue facing the department is a statewide shortage of drivers. If necessary, some local drivers could be reassigned to help in the Kansas City area. A nonprofit organization in Joplin is impacting immigrants and refugee families in this area. In 2023, Refugee and Immigration Services and Education, or RAISE, supported almost 90 people in the area. The organization provides the tools these families need to be successful in the U.S., from help with housing and documentation to driving and English classes. For 2024, the nonprofit plans to support up to 200 people.
We want to help people get connected. We want to help people get integrated. And we want our families that are arriving to feel, like they can thrive here, that they can become self-sufficient, stand on their own 2 feet, and be an asset to our community.
It means a lot to them to know someone will listen to me, or they will know they may get hungry or die on the street because they need the medical. And so it's just a simple thing. It brings them a smile, and you don't know how much you really impact in their heart.
RAISE started in Knoll, Missouri in 2017 and expanded into Joplin during the 2021 Afghanistan evacuation. Tonight at 10, a refugee from Colombia talks about how RAISE helped him make Joplin his home. To learn how to help RAISE, go to our website. That's KOAMnewsnow.com. Never before seen court documents related to the case against Jeffrey Epstein have been released. They include names of people not accused of any wrongdoing and at least one former Epstein employee facing new allegations. Nancy Chen has that story.
Former President Bill Clinton and Britain's Prince Andrew are 2 of Jeffrey Epstein's most high-profile associates, publicly named in the more than 900 pages of mostly unredacted documents released Wednesday. In a 2016 deposition that wasn't unsealed until yesterday, accuser Johanna Schoberg says she was with Epstein, Ghislaine Maxwell, and Virginia Giuffre in 2001 when she met Prince Andrew at the millionaire's Manhattan home. She told attorneys that when they were taking a photo, I sat on Andrew's lap and Andrew put his hand on my breast. Giuffre previously said she was forced by Maxwell and Epstein to have sex with Prince Andrew when she was 17. He denied those allegations and told the BBC in 2019 that he didn't know Giuffre.
I have no recollection of ever meeting this lady. None whatsoever.
You don't remember meeting her?
No.
They settled a lawsuit out of court in 2022. While the documents help flesh out what many have known about Epstein for years, it is unlikely that the revealed names will lead to more legal action. For example, later in her deposition, Schoberg discussed former President Bill Clinton. She did not accuse him of any wrongdoing, but said that Epstein told her one time that Clinton likes them young, referring to girls. Schoberg also said she had dinner with magician David Copperfield, who was not accused of any wrongdoing, at Epstein's home. She said the star asked her if I was aware that girls were getting paid to find other girls, but testified he told her no specifics about that. Also included in the documents are new details about former Epstein employee Sarah Kellen. Throughout the court records, she's alleged to have directed payments to certain women, scheduled massages for Epstein, and met with alleged victims at his home.
CBS News has reached out to Prince Andrew and Sarah Kellen about the allegations in these documents and to Bill Clinton and David Copperfield. We have not yet heard back, but Buckingham Palace previously told the BBC Schoberg's accusations that Prince Andrew groped her were, quote, categorically untrue. In 2019, the former president's spokesperson said Clinton knew nothing about Epstein's crimes. And in 2020, a representative for Sarah Kellen told CBS News that Kellen herself was a victim of Epstein. She knows the pain he caused and deeply regrets having any part in it. Nancy Chen, CBS News, New York.
Department of Homeland Security Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas is pushing back against Republican critics who say he's purposely failing to manage the southern border. Attempted border crossings reached an all-time high in December. The White House has asked Congress for nearly $14 billion to hire immigration judges and agents, fund shelters, and provide surveillance technology. A bipartisan group of senators and the White House are trying to broker a compromise to combine that funding with policy changes.
And what we are doing is enforcing our laws. And when people come to the United States at the border, they are placed in immigration enforcement proceedings. And those proceedings take many years because our system is broken and it is also underfunded.
House Speaker Mike Johnson is trying to impeach Mayorkas. The first committee hearing on impeachment is scheduled for next week. A little bit later, a different sort of online hoax.
A family lost tens of thousands of dollars in a case of cyber kidnapping. I'm Bradley Blackburn with how the scam works and how experts say you can protect yourself.
And next in Health Watch, how one woman's Apple Watch saved her life during a carbon monoxide leak. Topping today's Health Watch, as the temperatures drop and home heating systems run to keep us warm, the risk of carbon monoxide poisoning increases. Carbon monoxide can quickly make people disoriented. Reporter Stephanie Stahl has one Delaware student's story of how technology saved her life.
Natalie Nasaka is starting the new year grateful to be alive.
I ended up losing consciousness.
She's describing a bout of carbon monoxide poisoning that happened in her Smyrna, Delaware apartment.
I was feeling extremely exhausted and my vision was getting blurry.
Before she passed out, she reached for her watch.
This button usually...
She hit SOS, putting out the emergency call to 911.
But when I heard the firefighters yell out fire department and they yanked me out of bed, I just started crying and saying, I want to live, I want to live.
Carbon monoxide is a gas that has no color, odor, or taste. It's called a silent killer, claiming more than 400 people a year and sending 50,000 Americans to the emergency room.
As it is a lack of oxygen, really, that affects the body, there are certain things that do become irreversible.
The early warning signs include dizziness, confusion, and vomiting.
I've been riding waves of emotions.
Natalie, who's a student, says she was lucky that help arrived quickly and she was revived in the ambulance with oxygen.
Well, the carbon monoxide was confirmed because the fire department's monitor read 80 parts per million in the apartment, which is extremely high.
She thinks the gas leak came from a faulty heater, which is one of the leading causes for carbon monoxide poisoning in the winter. And there was no detector in the apartment, something Natalie admits she should have had for herself and her pet, who survived because firefighters opened a window.
It was extremely scary.
Stephanie Stahl, CBS News, Philadelphia.
Experts say all homes should have carbon monoxide detectors. In fact, they're actually required by law in some states. The CDC has more information on how to buy and install carbon monoxide detectors correctly. A new study published in the Lancet Healthy Longevity highlights a major benefit of wearing hearing aids. Researchers at USC found adults with hearing loss who regularly used hearing aids reduced their risk of death by almost 25%. They suggest hearing aids might play a role in improving overall health, leading to a longer lifespan. That is a look at today's health news. A little bit later, volunteers help the Downtown Joplin Alliance de-light Spiva Park.
Plus, we're tracking snowfall for your Friday morning. I'll catch you on the other side of the break with all the details. Well, it looks like a good chunk of us might wake up tomorrow morning with some snowfall on the ground, something that a lot of people do enjoy, but here are all the details. First, here's a look at our Indigo Sky Casino and Resort just west of Seneca, Missouri. Nothing going on right now, but heading into tonight, into tomorrow, be a different story. Here's our temperatures right now. Above average, above freezing, well above freezing for a lot of us, especially in northeastern Oklahoma, upper 40s for the most part. Grove, you're at 49, Jay at 50 degrees. Joplin, however, you're at 40 degrees. Lamar and Pittsburgh hitting those 30s at 39, and we're going to continue to decrease slowly but steadily into the rest of this evening. Continuing into the weekend, we'll see our temperatures feeling like lower 30s, upper 20s, so you're going to want to bundle up heading into the rest of the weekend. It's that time of year where we're seeing these temperatures feeling like freezing temperatures. That's Saturday afternoon, and we'll still feel below freezing heading into the rest of the week. Now, getting into the elephant in the room here, our snowfall potential. Now we could see anywhere from a dusting up to an inch for southwestern Missouri, but heading further west, you can see anywhere from an inch to 2 inches. And then even in our further western counties, that's where you could see anywhere from 2 to 4 inches of snowfall. Now our timing, the greatest chances for seeing this anywhere from 6 a.m. to noon. Now heading into northeastern Oklahoma and southeastern Kansas, you guys could see that snowfall enter a little bit earlier just because it's moving from the west off to the east. Now, our travel impacts for eastern counties will be a little less significant than our western counties on those roads, so make sure you're keeping mind of those road conditions. Here's a look at the future track. Like I said a little bit earlier, you might see a little bit of snowfall enter through the picture into southeastern Kansas and northeastern Oklahoma early Friday morning, but for the most part, 6 a.m., the majority of us will start to see that snowfall push through. Here's 11:30. We'll start to see consistent light to moderate snowfall throughout the mid-morning hours. Then once we pass noon, we'll see a little bit of a break. Now at this point, we'll be clear, but here and there we'll see some scattered showers and snow showers. Now will we get any accumulation with this? Not as much, because take note of these temperatures. They're above freezing. They're above upper 30s to lower 40s. So anything that hits the ground at that point will turn into slush at best, which still could impact the road conditions. So keep that in mind. Now, early Saturday morning will be clear. Here's your snow-o-meter. Here's a look at the road impacts. We could see a couple here and there, like I said. Now, as you move further westward into southeastern Kansas, that's where you could see the greatest road impacts. Above all, it's nothing significant and should be melted off by the time we get into the weekend. Speaking of that, Saturday afternoon, your high, pretty cold, 39 degrees, 46 degrees for Sunday. So we're going to continue on that cold trend, but we'll see a little bit of a break on Sunday in terms of precipitation. And then Monday and Tuesday, we'll see another chance for some showers into snow, possibly on Tuesday. So that'll be a much bigger system than what we're seeing right now. But hold on to your hats. Be prepared for that snowfall in the morning.
Yeah, especially in the western areas, as you say.
Absolutely.
Chloe, thank you. Of course. Joplin's Spiva Park isn't shining quite as brightly today. That's because volunteers with the Downtown Joplin Alliance took down the holiday decorations. Lights were unwrapped from trees and bushes. Loop lights were stored away and larger pieces were hauled off.
Have been great to work with us on it because they kind of know where the power is, and they know we can store all the stuff. A lot of the stuff gets stored here under the fountain. There's actually rooms under the fountain, so it allows us to have access and storage there. So Parks and Rec's been a huge help for us on both putting up and taking down.
Volunteers were treated to some hot chocolate for all their hard work. Coming up, how a cyber kidnapping scammed a family out of tens of thousands of dollars. Topping today's Consumer Watch, a lot of car thieves continue to prey on certain older Kia and Hyundai models. Theft insurance claims for these vulnerable vehicles shot up more than 1,000% between 2020 and 2023. That's according to the Highway Loss Data Institute. The group says some Hyundai and Kia models from 2015 to 2019 aren't equipped with basic prevention technology like electric immobilizers. And after social media videos showed how to illegally start, these cars went viral. Thefts went up more, as you might expect. A family was duped out of tens of thousands of dollars when their son was the victim of a cyber kidnapping. The strange case shows just how scams are growing more complex. Reporter Bradley Blackburn has details and what you can do to protect yourself.
On New Year's Eve, authorities found a 17-year-old student camping alone in the Utah snow after he was forced into the wilderness by virtual kidnappers. The exchange student was told his family in China was in danger unless he isolated himself away from society and law enforcement. Police say the online scammers ordered him to take pictures they used to extort money from his relatives.
The family in China believes that the kidnappers are actually with their son. And so through these three-way phone calls and then with the photographs and whatnot. So it's kind of a double blind, if you will.
The boy's family sent some $80,000 to the criminals before they realized it was all a hoax. U.S. authorities worked with Chinese officials on the case. They believe other exchange students have been targeted in similar scams.
They're on the other side of the world, so it helps the cyber criminals.
Security expert Scott Schober says these crimes are growing more sophisticated.
These scams are continually evolving. What doesn't work, then they're going to try to switch up the tactics and try something else.
To protect yourself, experts say think carefully before you post personal details online, like birthdays. Make sure you're using two-factor authentication and complex passwords for your accounts.
And if there's a threat, someone's demanding money, it's an urgent situation, take a step back and call police.
Call police. First thing to do, call police. Again, they're trained, they're professional. They do this every single day.
And be aware that these days, anyone can be a target. Bradley Blackburn, CBS News, New York.
Some scammers have used AI to fake voices or images of supposed kidnapping victims. And experts say criminals often gather information from online posts and use it for social engineering. Americans ramped up their online shopping during the holiday season. Adobe Analytics says they splurged on a record-setting $222 billion worth of electronics, toys, and other items. It says that spending haul between November 1st and December 31st marks a nearly 5% increase from the previous holiday shopping season. Adobe says shoppers were enticed by deep discounts as well as buy now, pay later options. Final check of the forecast next. Up next on the CBS Evening News, what authorities are saying after a school shooting in Iowa leaves a 6th grader dead, 5 other people wounded. Then on KOAM News at 6, the Labette County Sheriff's Office investigates the burglary of a tobacco shop that had already been seized by the Sheriff's Office. Plus, we're going to have more on the Joplin organization helping refugees and immigrants settle in the area. And Webb City squares off against William Chrisman in the opening day of the Kaminsky Classic. We're going to have the highlights of that. Stay with us for the CBS Evening News and then KOAM News at 6. Once again, Chloe has been tracking the possibility, maybe likelihood, that we're going to be getting at least some snow in the morning in parts of the area.
Yeah, it's true. Well, most of us will be waking up in the morning seeing some snowfall. That'll be Friday morning into the afternoon, overlapping a little bit into Saturday. We'll see a break before we see an even bigger system on Monday into Tuesday, but above all, cold temperatures all around. I don't know about you, Dow, but I just can't stand these cold temperatures.
Oh, I'm with you 100%. As soon as winter arrives, I'm ready for spring.
Exactly.
Thanks for joining us. The CBS Evening News is next. And of course, we're going to be right back here for KOAM News at 6. See you then. Let's make it a great evening.